Now, I know you've heard the story about Lisa Link's sister Laura, who is facing 12 years in a North Korean prison with her producer, Yoona Lee. She called Lisa and said, "We violated North Korean law, and we need our government to help us. We are sorry about everything that is. We need diplomacy." So it's kind of interesting because this is what the North Koreans have been wanting them to say, that they violated the law, that they broke the law.
Yeah, so they'll say that. I'm sure they can say that.
Guilt is a huge
But she didn't just walk into a telephone booth. They had to make this arrangement. Yes. They had to get the telephone. So what they wanted her to say was, we are guilty. In other words, the North Koreans didn't arrest two innocent people and do this. We are guilty of what do they say, violating the law, which is the only way, or the major way, that the U.S. government, or that they will then negotiate with the government. You admit guilt. This is not new.
But as long as they don't say that they were spies, I think the American government could easily say they violated, they went over the line, and they made a mistake, and it was wrong.
What North Korea is saying is, you were spies, you violated the law, you came over here to look to see what was going on. That is, they want that admission.
That admission is their number one goal and priority, and also to communicate it here in our country is also a priority, because they need that to be well understood by both nations.
If they get out,
we want them to get out.
We want them to get out.
We also want to say to young people, wherever you are, you know, it may sound like a good idea to go to some of these hot spots, but it is not cute when they grab you, because they're not playing. And now I'm not saying that's what these guys were doing. They were there working on Al Gore's network. But, you know, oftentimes young people think, oh, like that, remember that 13-year-old boy that just got on a plane and ended up going, I forget where he ended up, but he ended up in Pakistan. He might have gone to Moscow. I mean, just places he had no business going. It's crazy.
Didn't Al Gore make the trip? What came of that? What came of his visit? Did anyone know?
I thought he made it. We have a friend we know whose daughter said she was going one place, didn't tell her father, and then came back and said, I don't want to do this because I don't want to get the person and the daughter in trouble. And then it turns out that she had been, you know, and the father, in great understanding, said, what are you, an idiot? Because he was so furious that this... I mean, he told me this privately. I've now revealed it, but I haven't said who it is.
You went to Cuba and you had a tete-a-tete with Fidel. They let you out. No.
Well, but they did let me...
That was a communist country. You went there.
But no. My point is not that you should not go to a communist country or that
you had the backing of a
you do not go illegally, because as Whoopi said, you don't know. This is not just, oh, what a new adventure.
Well, let me ask you this, because
that's what I just said. That wasn't their thing.
Feeling a certain cause and having that renegade nature, I completely understand for a cause that you find worthy and valuable.
They weren't doing this as a cause. They were doing this as an investigator.
Right, but their cause to get the information out, I think, is a strong one. You've been there. I mean, when does the apprehension ever set in? Does it? Like, have you ever said, you know what? Although I think it's important information, I don't know if I can put myself in that situation.
I have never gone anywhere. I've been to places where we don't have diplomatic relations, that's true. But people have known about it. You know, when you start to draw the line, these were two young people who were trying to do their own research, whatever it was. I'm not sure whether they told the government. I'm not sure that they had other people around them. I mean, I think that when you are going as an investigative reporter and people know, and you're going with a legitimate not that this was illegitimate, I'm being very careful, but with a legitimate network, you have a group of people, you have producers, you're not alone. I mean, there is that line, but it's a little different. And we pray for them, and we love Lisa, and we hope that it all turns out okay.
But at least you got to hear her sister's voice, which I'm sure
and to know she's
was just
so comforting.
You know, really comforting. And now, earlier this week, why am I touching you? Because you're in purple.
Because I'm your executor.
That's right. The Obamas were in Russia for a historic summit meeting. But one of the biggest headlines is the pocketbook, or the handbag Michelle carried. Now, at first it was reported the bag cost almost $6,000. But then the White House said, no, that's not true. And from our sources, because we've called over to the store.
I'm a great source.
You are one of the greatest sources.
You went into dangerous territory.
Okay. This is a store that makes very beautiful handbags. And somebody gave me one as a present and gave me that one that was the $6,000. But it was a beautiful alligator bag. Okay.
That was not what she was carrying.
And it could be that the bags that you were carrying were gifts to her. This is the actual bag that she was carrying. This is patent leather, and she was carrying this to a meeting with Russian President Medvedev and his wife.
How much
and
is
this is $1,000.
$1,000.
Okay?
Well, not cheap.
It's not cheap, okay, but it's not $5,000.
You can get that at H&M for $10.
Well, this is beautifully made. This is, and I should, you know,
yours will fall apart.
The name of the place.
Fall apart too.
No. Really, they're very well. Look, but you have to look. It's beautifully stitched.
Beautiful.
You know,
And also,
let me just give the name of the place that were kind enough to give us this bag. It's called BVH. The man who runs it, who is a colleague of Valentino. That's where the V comes in, and this is let me just see if I have his right name. Bruce Hoxhamer. And now also, she also had a blue, she was seen carrying a blue silk one, and that blue silk one, similar to this, was $1,200. So, but
you're so small because you can't fit any. There's no money left.
We know that wasn't a gift.
But the point is, we are all saying how wonderful Michelle Obama is, and she is, because she buys low-end price clothes. And people are saying, well, on the other hand, she was wearing expensive shoes and she's wearing expensive bags. I mean, is she not allowed to have something?
Isn't she stimulating the economy by spending money? I mean, that's what they keep telling us to do.
That's like an economic orgasm right there. I mean, I think
the president, because I know that the president has to declare if something is over a certain amount. Both of them, but I'm sure that Michelle Obama.
I don't know that it was a gift. This is mine.
No, we don't know if it was a gift, but I'm sure that Michelle Obama has a stylist. And the stylists go and they pick out different things. I don't know if designers give the president's wife things for free.
No, you're not allowed to.
You're not allowed to.
Any more than we are allowed to.
Why should Michelle have to be any different from Nancy Reagan, Jackie Kennedy, and all these other, spendthrift first ladies?
But I think, there was, aside from where the money came from remember Sarah Palin on the campaign trail when everyone was picking apart how much was spent on her clothes. This is obviously different. It's not campaign funds, et cetera. It's private money. But the perception, I think, is still an issue. So I think people hit on that relatability. If you're so relatable, then why are you carrying this?
But hey,
it's not,
I like Target, and I like to get some designer stuff, too.
Just let me get there.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that I don't think it's right to pin any woman, because it primarily happens to the women. It never happens to the men. We never question their suits, their shoes, their ties, their pocket squares. I think it's fine. I think she mixes up her fashion, like you said, high and low.
You know what?
She has
it shows
style.
those commies what capitalism really is about.
I mean, we like bargains, and we like some really nice stuff. They always used to say your accessories should be the thing that you spend the money on.
Black with stunning accessories. That's my trick.
Well, then here.
We'll be right back with even more Hot Topics.
Bravo!